Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, all right? We're looking at the Harley Street Institute Fellowship in Aesthetic Medicine.
Mhm.
Now, this isn't just any training program. This is like the gold standard for doctors who want to specialize in injectables.
Right.
And we're going to unpack exactly what makes it so special.
Yeah.
We've got their website, some insider glimpses, and honestly, it sounds intense.
Yeah.
First off, it's been around for over 10 years.
Right.
That's like forever in the aesthetics world.
It is. Yeah.
And get this, people are flying in from all over the globe to attend this thing. So the big question is, what's the draw? Why is this fellowship so sought after?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things about this fellowship is how it stacks up against, say, a traditional medical degree.
Okay, yeah.
Because from what I've seen, the emphasis on hands-on experience is a major difference.
Yes, definitely. They mention 84 hours of actual clinic time. 84 hours.
That's a lot.
It's more than some people spend at work in 2 weeks. So I'm curious, like, do they have people practicing on each other from day one?
Well, not exactly. I mean, everything is supervised, of course.
Right, right.
But they emphasize that it's in a real clinic working with real clients.
Wow.
And that level of immersion, compared to sitting in lecture halls or reading textbooks,
Yeah.
that's a huge part of what makes this fellowship so effective.
That makes a lot of sense. But it's not just about the needles, right?
No.
They mention things like photography, even social media marketing as part of the curriculum.
Right.
It seems like they're covering way more than just the technical skills.
Absolutely. And that's such a crucial point because it really highlights a big shift that's happening in specialized medical education in general these days. It's not enough to be good at the technical stuff.
Right.
You've got to be able to manage a business, understand marketing, and build a strong online presence too.
So it's about being a well-rounded practitioner, not just a technician. I'm sensing a theme here. Observation, real-world experience. They even use the word mentorship instead of just calling it a course.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in practice?
It's about learning by watching, really absorbing knowledge from true experts in a real-world setting.
Right.
And I think, especially in a prestigious clinic like the one they're in, that kind of immersive experience is what builds not just skills, but confidence.
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure of treating clients in a place like Harley Street. You've got to trust your abilities.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Harley Street. That's one of those names,
Yeah.
I've heard it, but never really thought about it. What's so special about that location? It can't just be the address.
It's not. Harley Street is practically synonymous with, like, the highest level of medical excellence.
Yeah.
There's a certain prestige and exclusivity. And being immersed in that environment, it exposes the fellows to a very specific type of clientele, people with high expectations. It's an education in itself, far beyond any simulated clinic.
So it's like they're absorbing the unspoken rules, the subtleties of dealing with people who are used to the very best.
Yes.
It's about understanding that this is a luxury service, not just a medical procedure, right?
Exactly. And their curriculum really reflect that. They break it down into 7 key topics.
Okay.
Covering everything from handling emergencies and complications
Right.
to the business strategies of a successful aesthetic practice. They're giving these fellows a 360-degree view.
Wow. That's incredible. One thing that really struck me going through all of this is the focus on the why, not just the way. It's not just about, like, learning how to inject. They're really getting into how the face ages, how those tiny muscles actually work, all the intricacies under the skin.
Yeah, and that's a really important point to emphasize, and it speaks to the depth of this fellowship. There's actually a whole section in these notes on injection anatomy, which I think is a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Injection anatomy. Okay, that sounds kind of intense. Like something out of a medical thriller?
Right.
What does that even mean?
So think about it this way. A surgeon,
Yeah.
they can see exactly where every nerve, blood vessel, and muscle is before they, make a cut.
Right.
But an aesthetic injector, they don't have that luxury.
Oh, wow.
They're working with needles, essentially relying on their knowledge of injection anatomy to guide them.
So it's like they have to have this mental X-ray vision, being able to visualize everything that's happening under the surface.
Exactly.
Wow, that's incredible.
It requires this incredibly deep understanding of facial structures, how different fillers react in different layers of the skin,
Right.
and being able to predict and prevent any potential complications.
And that's where that mentorship aspect must be so crucial, right? To
Yeah.
actually observe these like master injectors at work, see how they adapt their technique for each individual's face.
Oh, absolutely. It's like learning a secret language.
Right.
You could read all the textbooks in the world, but nothing beats that immersion, seeing those subtle nuances in action.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of nuances, there's also that point about Botox taking years to truly master, which I guess makes sense when you think about it.
Hmm.
It seems simple enough, but I'm sure like a millimeter in the wrong direction could make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. It's a true testament to the artistry of this field. You can't rush expertise.
Right.
It takes time, patience, and a really keen eye to understand how these muscles all work together, how to create that natural look, and how to manage expectations. Because, let's be real, not every wrinkle needs to disappear.
That's so true. It's about enhancing, not erasing. Right.
Exactly.
And it goes back to what you were saying earlier about like understanding the whole face, not just treating individual lines.
Yes, precisely. This fellowship really emphasizes analyzing facial features, understanding the interplay of light, shadow, volume, contour.
Yeah.
It's about bringing out someone's natural beauty, not trying to force them into some, like, artificial mold.
Right, right. And all of that makes me think about the kind of people who are drawn to a program like this.
Mhm.
These are people who are clearly not just in it for the money. They're already medically trained, many with experience in aesthetics. This is about taking their skills to a whole new level.
It really speaks volumes about how this field is evolving. It's not just about vanity anymore. It's about confidence, well-being, helping people age gracefully.
Hmm.
It's this fascinating intersection
Mm.
of art and science with the potential for some really transformative results.
It is fascinating. We've talked a lot about the hands-on training, the technical stuff, but you know what else stands out from all of this? The network.
Yeah.
This isn't just about like learning in a vacuum. They're building a global community of these top-tier aesthetic practitioners.
Hmm.
Why is that so important in this field especially?
Well, for a few reasons, I think. First off, aesthetics is constantly evolving. New
Mhm.
techniques, new products, new research.
Right. It's fast-paced.
It's incredibly fast-paced.
Yeah.
So having a network, right, a network of colleagues that you trust who are also at the top of their game, that's invaluable for staying current, bouncing ideas around.
Like a built-in support system, almost.
Exactly.
Especially, I'd imagine, if you're thinking about opening your own clinic or building a brand. It's one thing to have the skills, but to have those connections to know who to ask, who to collaborate with,
Oh, absolutely.
that's next level.
And, in this field, reputation is everything.
Right.
Having those connections to other top practitioners, it opens doors, it leads to referrals, it really enhances your credibility.
And let's be honest, they're not shying away from the fact that this is a high-end world.
No.
I mean, they mentioned Jimmy Choo. It's not just about the medical side. It's about understanding a certain level of like style, luxury, clientele.
Right.
I have to imagine those connections could lead to some pretty amazing opportunities.
Absolutely. It's about more than just, injecting faces. It's understanding a lifestyle, the aspirations of a certain clientele, being able to speak their language, and not just literally, but in terms of aesthetics trends, what it means to look and feel your best.
So to sum it up, this fellowship isn't just teaching people how to inject. It's giving them the tools, the network, the understanding of this very specific world to build a successful and ethical practice.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. And it's really exciting to see how a program like this is shaping the future of aesthetics as a whole.
It makes you wonder what other professions could benefit from an approach like this. That hyper-focus on precision, artistry, I mean, could those skills translate? What about microsurgery or like watchmaking even?
Right. It's fascinating to think about. This deep dive into the Harley Street Institute Fellowship has really opened our eyes to the possibilities. It's about so much more than meets the eye. It's about pushing boundaries, constantly learning, really shaping the future of this whole field.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. If you could design a mentorship program that combined artistry, precision, that global support system, what field would it be in? Let us know. We'd love to hear your ideas. Until next time, keep those deep dive brains engaged.